Hello and welcome to Sioux Online. Today we have Kara Flannigan with us from the Green Party. Hello, Kara.
Hey, Mike.
Okay, the Green Party has been accused of being a one-issue party, and that is environment. How do you answer to that?
Well, one of the reasons that I love the Green Party is we're fiscally responsible, ecologically sustainable, and we believe in social justice. And fortunately, all three of those issues are interrelate and affect each other. So when we're talking about climate change and addressing climate change, that immediately affects our health and our economy. So if you want to shift from fossil fuels to green, clean energy, there's an enormous number of jobs that are going to be created with that. And having more jobs means people are healthier, make healthier choices, choose healthier food. When you're getting to work, supporting our infrastructure and retrofitting our homes for energy efficiency, we're stimulating the economy because you have to buy the things to do the work, and that lowers our greenhouse gas emissions, increases our housing stock so that people are more comfortable and safer. They all interrelate.
Yeah, but it's been reported that the jobs that you just said were going to be created would eliminate tens of thousands of other jobs that we already have and aren't going to be there. You take for example, several of our young people from the Sioux and all throughout Canada are out west working on the oil fields. And building the pipeline. If you institute all these new ideas, green energy and stuff, this is going to eliminate a lot of those jobs. So where do you stand with that?
Well, it's going to create an awful lot of jobs too. The Green Party, of course, does not support any pipelines, and we do. The science is telling us that the tar sands have to stay in the ground in order to protect our climate and our planet, our very survival. So what we need to do is we need to tax the things that we don't want, which is fossil fuels, carbon emissions, waste, and shift taxes away from the things that we do want. So, and we want jobs. We want clean energy. We want green energy jobs. We need research and development. And the people that would be moving from the fossil fuel industry would be moving into those clean tech and green tech jobs. It's a shift. It's not a loss. And as far as the fossil fuels, we have to make a shift. And the existing fossil fuels that we do have, we need to not pipe them somewhere. We need to refine them in place so that creates jobs for Canadians instead of shipping the jobs elsewhere. And until we move completely away from fossil fuels.
Okay, so you're saying that the jobs lost would be equal to the jobs created?
Yes, and actually there's studies out there that show that moving to the green clean energy industries creates double the amount of jobs. So
okay,
it's good for the environment, it's good for our health, it's good for the economy.
Okay. We in Sault Ste. Marie is a blue-collar city, and they don't often think about the economy and everything that the leaders are talking about on TV and stuff. They talk about taxes. The middle income and lower income people, they worry about how much income tax they have to pay annually. Now, if your party was to get in, if you were to get in, what would you do to try and lower their taxes, especially the lower income people?
Yes, seriously, we have to take poverty is a very serious issue, and joblessness, our unemployment rate here is unacceptable, and when you look at our young people, it's even worse. So we do need to address that. That we believe in supporting people, and that does mean lowering taxes for our lower income people. Not taxing anyone earning under I think it was $20,000. Yeah, but in addition to that, we want a guaranteed livable income for all people, and so, and with our fee and dividend carbon situation, that the revenues generated for that would be returned to every Canadian over the age of 18. So that would be being divided equally, proportionately. That would be a greater boost to our lower income people and people on a fixed income. I can't really answer the tax thing. I do know that our tax system needs to be overhauled and fair. That's what needs to happen. There's that we're providing tax breaks for big corporations and not for people, and we need to reverse that. We need to tax the things that like waste and pollution, like I mentioned, carbon emissions and that kind of stuff, and then and decrease the taxes on the things that we do want, like jobs and like income. So it's a whole thing. It's not one thing in isolation. The whole system needs to be reviewed and adjusted to be fair to all people.
Okay. Pensions.
Pensions. Okay. Pensions need to be protected. We need auditors looking at corporations to make sure that they're managing their pensions properly and that they're adequately funded for workers. You shouldn't lose your pension for if a corporation goes under and you're last in line for in bankruptcy. That's wrong. That needs to be protected. Pensions, the Canada Pension Plan is too low, but it's the most efficient way of getting money to people after they're finished working. So that needs to be adjusted upwards. In addition to that, we need, as I said, we have a guaranteed livable income so that no person is living in poverty. We need to eliminate poverty because that only improves our health. So that's what I mean. It all kind of interrelates. When you talk about a one-issue party, the one issue influences everything else. We don't want anyone living in poverty. Nobody. So if that means that we have to adjust all of these little programs, and the fact that if you get one, it claws back other things that you qualified for, that doesn't make any sense. So we need it to be comprehensive and seamless so that the Canada Pension Plan supports people in their retirement at a comfortable, livable wage. And if it means that we have to work together with the provinces to align all of these financial resources to be seamless and so that nobody's living in poverty, that's what we need to do.
Jobs in Sault Ste. Marie. It has been reported that the unemployment rate in Sault Ste. Marie is over 12%.
Yes.
What do you intend on doing to try and change that?
Well, there's some low-lying fruit. Now that our dollar is at an all-time low, we need to increase advertising for tourism. Tourism is a great thing because we are a wonderful country. We want to share that. We have long had tourism as a big part of our economy here. Are the train tour, the skiing. We have the Group of 7 tours. We have so much to celebrate here, and we need to expand that. And those jobs are here. They would be created here. You can't outsource that. So those types of jobs, as I said, investing in our infrastructure, just in improving our housing stock and our leaky buildings to lower greenhouse gas emissions. It puts people to work. It stimulates the economy because you have to buy stuff to do the work, and you need people to do the work. So those jobs can't be outsourced. We've got a lot here that we need to improve.
Tuition fees.
Tuition fees. Okay.
With students being in debt for years and years after they finish their education, are you going to try to do anything about either decreasing or even making post-secondary education free and even forgiving the present tuition fees that are owed?
Okay, really good news for our young people is eventually we want to abolish tuition fees for colleges and universities. A higher educated population brings new ideas to the table, and it also increases health, and their new ideas are going to help us do things differently so it protects the environment. It all works together. It's worth investing in our young people. We can start, we want abolishing all tuition fees by the year 2020. Until we get there, we want to decrease debt for those who already have crippling debt when they get out of school down to $10,000, and provide free tuition to low-income students. So we're going to move to the point where post-secondary education is free, and it's only going to benefit all of us in the long term. It's a long-term investment in our future. Okay.
One of the most important questions I want to ask you is what you intend on doing about the situation with the missing and murdered Aboriginal women.
That is a serious, horrible stain on our Canada for our First Nations women to be so dismissed. And I'm offended by that, and every Canadian should be. We need to figure out and investigate what is going on and how we can stop this immediately. They are precious, and we want to ensure our First Nations women that they are valued. And the way we've gone about things to this point, we have not shown them that.
Would you like to say anything to your constituents?
Okay. I'm Kara Flannigan. I'm running for the Green Party, locally here in the riding of Sault Ste. Marie. My work in public health has opened my eyes to how urgent and important it is to address climate change. We need to protect our food, our water, our environment, and infrastructure, because climate change is one of the biggest threats to our societies and our very existence. One thing I've long been concerned about is the fact that people aren't showing up to vote. Just to give you an example, in the last election, federal election, the only 60% of eligible voters showed up. Of that, 40% of those voters supported our current government. So what that means is 25% of eligible voters took 100% of the power. And what's happened there is the current system that we have has allowed the majority government to make force changes to our Canada without any interference. Changes that weren't supported by up to 75% of eligible voters. And so we need to change our system. Liberals and NDP and the Green Party all support proportional representation, which means that our system reflects who we are, with all of our voices at the table, working towards for our country. Every vote matters, and every vote is heard. And it will mean the elimination of vote splitting and strategic voting, and allow people to vote for what they believe in. And I'm asking you to vote for what you believe in and invest in a healthy and sustainable and fair Canada. And thank you very much. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you very much.
Okay.